why people of Afghanistan and people of Kashmir have nothing in common with the people of the subcontinent India. Their features are different, their nomenclature is different, their complexion is different, their style of life is different. And one of the British, not the British but Western scholars I read, said if you want to rebuild the life pattern of the women at the time of Moses, go to the Dal Lake and see the Kashmiri women bringing their earthen pots to the lake and fill it and wash their clothes. This is exactly how they looked and this is exactly how they lived. So the scholars are in no doubt about the origin of the people of Afghanistan and the people of Kashmir as belonging to the same Israelite stock. So if Jesus was true, and we believe he was true, he must have kept his promise. He must have gone in search of these lost tribes and delivered his mission to them and completed his ministry. So this is the scenario as we say it.
Okay. Can I have a small...
Yes, please do.
One thing is this, that Jesus used to raise people from the dead, as Quran says. Allah, Muhammad, Rasulullah, Musa, Kalimullah. So if he was used to raise people from the dead, and according to His Excellency, your perception about the logic and all that, which I agree completely, I don't disagree, I'm not on prejudiced line.
I know, I can see that.
Which I have seen a lot in Pakistan.
Yes.
100% prejudice,
right.
So I'm not prejudiced. I'm not prejudging anything. But what I'm saying in the logic is this: if he was making the people raise from the dead, so did God raise him from the dead also?
You see,
when he died,
God could, of course.
God could have, yes.
Of course, but God could do anything and can do anything.
Yes, you have said that.
Yet on the authority of that, I can't say this is a horse. And if you disbelieve me, I would say, cannot God do that? And you will be absolutely nonplussed. You'll say, yes, God can do. What would be your answer? God can do anything. But the stranger it is, more powerful evidence there should be of its existence. So God can do everything, but if the evidence is counter to what people believe, then we cannot say because God can do it, so it must have happened. I am producing an evidence on the authority of Jesus himself, that he did not rise from the dead. It was a case of survival against all odds. As he himself had explained that his case would be like that of the Jonah. He survived against all odds and continued to survive. And he was resuscitated by God somehow. So was the case of Jesus Christ. So, but there are so many other things in that regard which I could quote. As far as his bringing the dead to life is concerned, we believe on the authority of Quranic metaphors and parables, the style of life, expression I mean, that he raised not the physically dead to life, but spiritually dead to life. And because he himself had said that he spoke in parables, people failed to understand him. And now when the Western scholars have reinvestigated all the incidents of his so-called bringing to life the dead people, they have found many loopholes in them. And they are no longer believed to be literal revival of the dead, even by the Christian scholars of this era. But I speak on the authority of the Quran. The Quran, when it uses a phrase, another verse of the Quran explains that phrase so that it may not mislead you. He speaks of Jesus bringing the dead to life and speaks of the Holy Prophet, that, O Prophet, invite them to yourself so that you can raise them from the dead. Tell them to come to you so that you raise them from the dead. So this phrase absolutely explains the spiritual jargon or terminology that when it is said that the dead are raised, it is not meant that physically dead are raised. It's meaningless anyway.
But you believe that physically it can be raised by God?
Can be raised if God says so.
Okay.
But if there is a purpose and there is wisdom in that, if there is no purpose, no wisdom, then God doesn't do stupid things. But He can. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hazur, next questioner is Mr. Arjan Singh Jagdev, who is the ex-president of Southwest Gurdwara, Tooting. Mr.
Yes.
Arjan Singh.
Our old friend. Why don't you say that? Almost
Yes,
like brother.
Yes. Your Excellency, my most respectful greetings to you. My question today, first of all, I must appreciate and really agree with you that all religions, the one thing you had told to our friend who has come from Sierra Leone, that if we start traveling towards godliness, there will be no problems.
That's right.
Now, but here mostly we discuss the historical things, what happened and what not. But that was the crux of the matter, which I think. Now, my question is that we believe in reincarnation and the settlement of our good or bad deeds immediately after the death. And I believe that Islam and Christianity, they believe in doomsday. Could you please tell me when was the last doomsday and when is going to be the next doomsday, and during that time how many souls would there be to be accounted for? And I think millions are born every day and millions die. That's my question.
Thank you very much. Now I'll turn to both the questions. The question which is addressed to me and the question which is almost phrased and not completed. What happens to the soul, so the souls which return to the earth in other forms? That is the question I mean. I'll answer both the said question and the unsaid question. Now, as far as the last doomsday is concerned, the doomsday should be understood in the light of religious terminology. According to the religious terminology, everything which is created by God returns to Him. In the sense then that the age of the universe is not eternal. Whatever is created, even if it is lifeless, it will ultimately die or disintegrate into nothingness. And then a new cycle begins. So the last doomsday, I can guess, should have occurred somewhere around 20 billion years ago, before the Big Bang, when all the universe was wrapped into a sort of existence which the scientists cannot fully understand, only their mathematical concepts as to what might have happened. You see, the whole universe is expanding now. And the expanding universe has begun to squeeze in portions here and there, so that hundreds and some say thousands of black holes are already created at smaller scales. A black hole means the one which absorbs all forms of energy and so powerfully attracts them through the exaggerated force of gravity. I mean, I'm not going to go into detail how it happens, but imagine the gravitational force is multiplied by 1,000,000. How powerful it would become.